In our national lead, cancer is the leading cause of death by disease for children in the United States, according to the National Cancer Institute. But of the total $6 billion budget in 2018 for that research group, only 5% of it was spent on researching pediatric cancer. For our colleague René Marsh, that lack of funding is personal. Her son Blake passed away this April of brain cancer. He was only 2 years old. And joining us now is CNN's René Marsh. She is author of a brand new book called The Miracle Workers, Boy versus Beast. It comes out today. All of the proceeds go to the Blake Vince Payne Star Fund at the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. And René, you wrote this book, this beautiful, heartbreaking book, while your son was in the hospital. What inspired the characters?
So, I mean, this book is really a book of hope. And what inspired the characters was during my journey, I found myself in a place where I was scrambling to find hope on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment, minute-to-minute basis. And I just started thinking about this idea of instilling this idea of hope at a much younger age. Perhaps it'd be easier when you're an adult to deal with these sort of life circumstances. So in the book, Blake is my Blake, but for anybody reading this book, it can be the child reading the book. And the monster for my family was pediatric cancer. But for any child reading this book, it could be bullying, it could be anything. We've all been through a lot in the last year and a half, a pandemic. Children have lost caregivers, people have lost their jobs. It's a lot for children. And so my hope is that this book will inspire the young children and their parents. And the other part of this is raising awareness and funds for pediatric cancer.
Yeah, and that's just, which is so important. And I should underline that this book is a hopeful book. It was heartbreaking for me to read it because of your Blake. That's why it broke my heart. I want to read one little section because you write, "The battle's not won by the physically strong. If you want to defeat a beast of this kind, the key to the fight is right there in your mind." That was a big theme during your time in the hospital.
Yeah, it was. Because this idea of hope, I will say to anyone going through a trying circumstance, that is the thing that we had, my husband and I had in our survival toolkit, was hope. And I truly believe to this day, if we were hopeless when going through this, we would not have survived that. So that's what this message is all about. Just it's in the mind. Sometimes the story doesn't work out the way we want it to. But imagine going through a heartbreaking situation and you're hopeless from the very beginning. That to me is even worse. So that is what I hope the children will take away, and their parents too.
So our colleague Andrew Kaczynski and his wife Rachel, they also are fighting to raise money and awareness for childhood cancer, for pediatric cancer, after the death of their daughter Francesca, who they called Beans. There's little Beans. Who they lost. Where should parents turn for resources and knowledge if they find themselves in this unimaginable situation?
Yeah, I mean, I have partnered with the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, which has an array of resources. There's the Children's Oncology Group as well. There are plenty of resources out there. But when you talk about Andrew, I mean, my goodness, he just ran a marathon to raise money for cancer. I'm writing a book to raise money for cancer. There are other parents selling T-shirts. They're shaving their heads. There's something wrong with this scenario. I mean, it's great that we're fighting for our children who are no longer here. But if this is the way that we're funding pediatric cancer, I think that as a nation, we have to take a step back and try to figure out if this is the way to do it.
Yeah, well, kids don't vote. Right?
That's one issue, yeah.
So politicians don't fund it. Last month you spoke before Congress. You petitioned President Biden to, quote, include a comprehensive strategy to end pediatric cancer as part of his national plan. Is there any legislative momentum going on here?
There are two strong pieces of legislation, the Give Children a Chance Act, as well as the Gabriella Miller 2.0 Act. They've been introduced in the House. Gabriella Miller has been introduced in the Senate. They have not been passed yet, but they are strong pieces of legislation. The problem with Washington is, Jake, that there is a will. There's no one that you will find in Washington who doesn't believe that we should fund pediatric cancer. But you know as well as I know, getting things done in this town, it's hard and it takes a long time. The problem is there are children in real time with this disease waiting on those decisions to be made, waiting on that funding to come through. So that is the heartbreaking issue at hand.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The adult leaders of this country are failing the children of this country over and over. But thank God for you, and thank God for Andrew Kaczynski and your spouses, and we love you. And congratulations on this book. It's called The Miracle Workers, Boy versus Beast. It's out today. And again, all proceeds will go to the Blake Vince Payne Star Fund at the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. The foundation funds pediatric brain cancer research, including a pioneering initiative to develop treatments for Blake's rare disease. I will be tweeting out information about this so people know how to get it, where to get it, and thank you again. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.